right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, joined by Randy Angston. What's up, buddy?
Hello, my friend. How's your day?
Shalom.
Hey, top of the morning to you.
Doing good. Guys, got a couple things to talk about. Well, actually, we do these things differently now. We don't even have to say go to growsummit.chicago.com, so we don't have to do that anymore. It's going to be in there somewhere. So anyways, episode today, guys, is comes off of several of the calls that Randy has had. He brought this to my attention, and we just have to talk about this because I have a feeling this is probably plaguing a lot of you listening, that you know, once he tells you, you're going to realize that there's a whole bunch of people that you don't know even exist that have hit your websites and have wanted to do something, but they weren't quite ready now. So why don't you get into that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you, Tim and I always said, if you poll, 100 gym owners on what they need to grow their business, 98 of them will tell you, I need more leads. Obviously, that'll turn into clients. But after, I took a number of calls this last week. And I would say I think of the 5 I spoke with, all 5 were in this position. And I'm going to kind of paint the journey with you guys. So traditionally in our businesses, if you end up on our website, you have the opportunity to opt in on something, more information, get started, learn more, something along those lines. When that lead is captured, meaning name, phone number, and email address, that client is now entered our ecosystem. We realize they exist. Whether they take action and move through and purchase something or book a consultation or do anything like that, we already know that they're in our ecosystem. They're interested. They've raised their hand. Now, when I was working with these 5 gyms, when doing kind of a discovery call, going into the ins and outs, asking, take me through that client journey, that onboarding process. How does, from somebody knowing that they exist all the way through to them buying your services. And every gym that I spoke with, they painted the picture of like, if somebody ended up on their website, they don't have the option of just providing their information and getting more information from the gym or even booking a consultation or anything along those lines. They had to either register to purchase or sign up for a free class. A couple of them had the only option was actually paying for a service from their website. And the problem being is they're not speaking to, and they're not even aware of individuals that are interested in what they have, that want more information or that need to have a conversation before signing up. And so it reminds me of our awareness triangle that we've talked about a long time, right? Your marketplace is, if you think of like the old food pyramid, the top of that triangle is the most aware individuals. They recognize that there's a problem, that they're seeking out the solution. They've decided on you as the solution to fix that problem. They're only speaking to that group in the entire marketplace. Well, if you go down that triangle, the number of people that are in each of those lower levels, it gets bigger and bigger. The bottom is the absolute largest group, and that's people that don't even realize that they have an issue. They're not necessarily seeking a solution then. But you want to speak to that group. There's many, many more people in the marketplace, right? The cold traffic that you can tap into is way more versed than those people that are ready to buy your services today. And when we think about lead generation is not just client generation. You have to have the leads come into the business in order to convert to a client. But if you cut out the ability to gather leads, you're only speaking to people that are actually looking to buy from you today. And so I think that the majority of their opportunity is entirely missed. They're not speaking to anybody that's interested or potentially interested. They're only speaking to buyers today. Mm-hmm. And if you're planning on the growth of your gym, why not have the ability for people to enter your ecosystem, nurture them through emails, newsletters, pick up a phone and call them? All of that opportunity is off the table entirely if you don't have a system set up to be able to capture a lead. You could gate information, you could do a million different things, but it blew me away that with the number of gyms I spoke with in the last week, this was a congruent problem across all of their gyms.
Yeah, and from what you told me was not only can they not opt in, they actually have to go create a profile on, say, a Wellness Living or Mind Body. and set a password and do all this stuff when they don't even know what you do, how much you are, or anything. Or maybe they do know how much you are, but like for the amount of hurdles that somebody has to jump over just to do business with you is killing their businesses. I mean, just taking simple data that we know in the e-commerce world, 85% of visitors to a checkout page abandon the cart. So if 100 people hit that checkout page, 85 of them are leaving without their information. They're losing, 85%, right? They're losing 85% of the audience that maybe is interested.
Exactly.
Or maybe the phone rang and they abandoned because, something came up and they had to run to the grocery store to pick up something, and then all of a sudden you're out of their minds.
Yeah. And there's a couple things, obviously, like when a lead generated in our businesses, right? In the gyms we work with, obviously we've got nurture systems and things like that to guide that person to the next opportunity, to a face-to-face, to a consultation, to a discovery call, something along those lines. They have none of it, because they're not gathering any information from anybody unless they're willing and they're already in a position to buy, or like you said, fill out an extensive form for information. You know what I mean? And it goes back to making doing business with you easy. These are hurdles. These are and not just small. There's a massive, and I know that. From, again, A/B split testing type of thing, we've put that system up against a lead nurture or lead opportunity with some automation to the point of a booked, next opportunity is a booked consultation. We've done that left to right, and the process where you have to fill out the form, and it's extensive, right? Not just name, phone number, and email address. Like, it's going to talk about your goals. It's going to ask you. There's all sorts of different things. Each one's different, but let's say you're answering 7 or 8 different questions or different things that you have to fill in. Every time you add another input box on a form online, you're losing a percentage of people. And so when you've got 8, 10, 12 different things that you're requiring everybody to do before you even know they exist, you're getting a fraction of the people that are actually willing to do that moving forward. And so the reason that we wanted to discuss this is because you have lead generation you're not even doing lead generation. You're literally only opening up the opportunity to sell to people that are looking to buy what you have to offer. And
so what those gyms you're talking about, they're doing some type of trial, or they're doing, booking a class, like physically booking into a time slot.
Yep.
Think about 2 things. Think about that person going through there that is just checking your gym out. They don't know what class to go into. I've even been on calls where we open it up and there's like 12 different people they can meet with. Like, how do they know?
Yeah.
So if I was going to give any advice here on how to fix this, I think number 1, we all have to understand and realize that in this fitness business we're in, we have to have some type of consultation in order to get them into a sale. Other than maybe a low barrier trial that you have a great sales page for, that doesn't go through a wellness or a mind body to make the purchase, but maybe like a funnel or something like that where they're buying $99 for 14 days. That's an easy purchase. That's like that doesn't need a consultation. But the real business that we're in is to sign up, memberships for a long term. We've got to push people into a consultation.
And you're right. But the one thing that I would say with that process too is because, again, I went deeper, right? So after those free classes, after somebody took that opportunity, did all that work, showed up in the free class, if you don't have the system for the consultation after the fact, you're just letting them walk out, and then now you're chasing them down, trying to figure out how to go sell the client, that the whole system should be about converting them into a member.
Should be.
So it can happen before that initial class or before a membership, but it definitely has to happen after the fact if you're not going to do it before. And so that was another thing that we talked about with a number of them. It was, all right, they'll take you through the process. Somebody does that free class. Leaving that class, are you meeting with them? Are you trying to, are you asking them how it went and converting them at that point? Again, most of them had nothing as far as a system. It was willy-nilly. It was like, oh, if so-and-so was available, if we can catch them was always a thing, right? And that's, again, you're leaving all of the responsibility on the client to move them forward. One other big problem is you're positioning yourself, like we've talked about. You want to be in a position of authority in a consultation. We are the experts in the arena. If somebody's coming to us because they have a need for health and fitness, they're the person that's seeking knowledge. They're the person seeking out that expert. You are that expert. And so you naturally should have a position of authority at that consultation. But if you're deciding, hey, I want you to go decide what class you want to start with. The decision is up to you. You're instantly put as the gym owner or the facility. You're instantly put as in a passive role.
Yeah.
And you become the order taker. And so people are going to decide on whatever they feel is right for them. You're never discussing their needs, their goals, their long-term goals, why they're in this position at all. If you walked into a mechanic and you said, hey, I've got this noise in my engine, I want you to go do this. That's not how the mechanic works, right? The mechanic knows he's got to diagnose the issue. And that's how our prescriptive close kind of structures things. Let's hear what you need as far as fitness, and then let us paint the picture. Let's draw you in towards the membership that's going to give you the most likely opportunity for that result.
Yeah.
And they don't have that ability at all either.
Right.
And so obviously it was relevant enough for us to speak to on a podcast. I think that there's so many more gyms out here that are just like this. Lead generation has to be, you have to consider lead generation on the forefront. You almost have to build something before you just expect somebody to come through and buy your services.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what the CLA is, right?
Yep,
the nurture to book appointments. So we collect leads from many, many sources, and we push them all into one process, which is book a consultation. And then when they're here, obviously we have a consultation reminders and sequences and everything set up. And then we have a step-by-step process that Zach goes through. The gyms we work with have a step-by-step process that we meet with them. This is the first thing, the second thing, the third thing, and we set the tone. We are the experts. We don't allow them to decide if they're going to sit and meet with us this day, or maybe I'll come back after my next class, or whatever that looks like. And the unfortunate thing is, I think this is, like you said, happens a lot, but this is a class-based large group model way of doing business. Mm-hmm. Give them a free class. Again, going back to 2 episodes or 3 episodes ago, we don't like the word free. We don't like to use free, but let's get them in, let them feel it, and then let's catch them after. But if they don't have a process on the front end, they better have one on the back. And what you're saying is sometimes they have neither.
Correct. Yeah, and it's not that they don't. The gym owners were aware, or like as we walked through that, it was a lot of the aha moments, like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But again, there's nothing in the business. There's nothing systematized. There's no set individual who's responsible to meet with those people after that session. It's not built into a process that makes, one, logical sense, but also gives you as the business the opportunity to convert a client. It blew my mind just because of the repetition, so frequently on the last few calls. But the same thing, I think, because here's the thing, you could say you want to run lead generate, or I need more leads. But again, what are you doing? You're pushing everybody right to a point of sale right now, right today, and that's the only option. How many people just have some more questions? How many people, are willing to raise their hand and want to have a conversation, but you're ignoring them because you're only communicating to people that are buying today.
Yeah.
And we just know from data that is, you're speaking to the 2% of the marketplace, the 5% of the marketplace. Let's go address the 95% of people that you could speak to, educate, provide some form of continued education, whether it be newsletters, whether it be free ebooks or PDFs or whatever you can do, whatever you decide to do.
Get them on your list so you can talk to them later.
And that's the biggest thing, is there was no lists. Nobody had lists. Like, you had people that had tried, the only lists that they had were people that had tried a class and then had moved on. But then there was nobody in the seat to go follow up with those people if they didn't catch them that day. One of them had one follow-up email.
We could fix all this really very easily.
Absolutely.
Just work with us and we'll fix it all for you. And you'll see your conversion skyrocket, your money skyrocket, the amount of people in your gym skyrocket. Because if this is the current situation of the industry, or at least of this small group of gyms that you spoke with, and assuming there's more, this is so fixable. Literally, we've been doing this CLA process for 6 years. We've been building
for other gyms.
For other gyms.
Yeah.
Well, 12,
Yeah,
15 here.
2010.
13 years. We've had this fixed for 13 years in this business, but
but to that point exactly, I think that the problem with these gyms is they say I'm not growing. I can't grow my business. And I think the ultimate problem is the fact that they don't know how. We don't realize that we're not giving the opportunity to grow our business. We're only working with people that are ready to buy
now
instantly.
Yeah.
And you have way more opportunity that you're not addressing than what you're ever going to get with people that are literally ready to walk through your doors and pay you for something.
Yeah.
And
great points all the way around.
This to me is it's one of the easiest things to fix.
Totally.
To speak to a couple of the, I don't want to say the pushbacks, but the
objections,
kind of objections to the idea was my software. I don't know how to do that with my software. That's something that we can address, right? Maybe we change softwares, or maybe we layer in something different,
Yeah.
And I use the example in our business. We've got contracts, through MindBody. Somebody has to sit down, sign up, and do that when we're moving to the membership. But we're not using that software until somebody's in the position to buy.
Yeah.
We work with Keep, and we work with CLA, and we work with a nurture system ahead of the point and the expectation of the sale.
Yes.
And that right there is the missing link on every gym I spoke with. And just because of the sheer number of them, I have to assume that there's that many more gyms out there that don't have some form of true lead generation, list building, opportunity in their business.
Well, MindBody Wellness, give me a holler. We'll see if we can fix this for everybody. We build it in your software for you. Anyways, great episode. I mean, that's in the moment.
Yeah.
Problems we're trying to solve for you. So listen up, gym owners. If you're in the situation, right, you've heard Randy saying like, hey, you're only talking to the people that are ready to buy right now, and all those other people disappear. You have no list of leads that just have some kind of interest but aren't ready to buy today. Jump on a call. The link's in the show notes, guys. This is such an easy fix.
Yeah. And like the coolest thing there is when we fix that, it's flipping a switch on your growth. I mean, literally, it's like turning on the floodgate or opening the floodgates.
We've done it
every time.
Yeah, every
time.
I
mean, every single time you bolt in a true lead generation component, you've got 100 more opportunities. Like you're like it's reps. You know what I mean? And
fantastic.
And that's the thing is you need the opportunity to speak to people. That's the goal, not just be there, talking to those with the credit card.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, that's it for this episode. Good one today. Get your wheels turning. Until next episode, guys, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye.
All right, and thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals, and when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.